Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with the most important question on Reddit. Am I the bunghole? Let's dive in and see what the question is today. Am I the bunghole for telling my mom she has to choose between me and her biological grandchild or her stepdaughter and her kid? I will hold my comments until the end. For context, I, a 23 female, my mom, a 42 female, have generally always gotten along. She married my stepdad, 45 male, about 14 years ago. He has 3 kids, 24, 22, and 20. My mom has 2 kids, 23 and 19. That's her and a sister. Me and my sister were never a priority in our house. We always came last to my step-siblings. All of my step-siblings have kids, and I am currently 25 weeks pregnant with my first. I do not live with my mom. I am married and living on my own, even though it's only a few blocks away from my mom's house. My oldest stepsister has hated me for about a year now. We would get in fights just like regular sisters do, but I got tired of me always apologizing just because she wouldn't let me or my mom see my niece until I apologized. I didn't want to be the reason my mom didn't get to see her granddaughter. Now my stepsister refuses to come around to anything I will be at, family functions, our parents' house, Christmases, Thanksgiving, anything. My stepdad told me I couldn't go to 3 of my grandparents' houses for Christmas because she wanted to go. I didn't fight back because I didn't want to be the reason my grandmas didn't get to see my niece. The other day I was at my mom's house and her and my stepdad told me to leave because they wanted my stepsister and niece to come over and I wasn't allowed over. I had been there for hours at that point. If they had come to talk to me and told me that they wanted to come over, it would be a different story. But they just kicked me out, no warning, nothing. I didn't want to separate the family, and I want my child to have the opportunity to play with their cousins and not have to deal with tension from family members and not having to deal with being told they have to leave because someone else wants to come over. I don't know what to do anymore because I know I have to do what's going to make my child happy in the long run. So, am I the bunghole? So sorry, forgot to mention why we were fighting. I was about to say. She wanted me to help her get a house and a car. I told her I could co-sign for a car, but as I'm only 23 years old and couldn't get approved to co-sign on a house, she accused me of hiding money and saying that I own my house. I did not own my house. I'm renting from a friend. She said that if I didn't give her $30,000 for a down payment, she would tell our parents, and I told her go ahead and tell them because I would not be giving her that much money. She has always been petty like this when someone doesn't give her exactly what she wants. She goes crazy. Alright, hold it. Update. We're going to read this update too. So sorry. I know I left out some details. Yeah. I just gotten out of the fight with my mom and stepsister before I made this post and needed to vent and get advice. My bio sister has been low contact with all of our step-siblings and parents for about 2 years now. She saw all the crap that was going on in our whole lives and she felt that she didn't want to be around it anymore. I don't blame her. As for the other step-siblings, they all think I am in the wrong for not giving her $30,000. They think because I am married and have a husband that we have all this money we can throw away when that is not the case. They aren't as bad as the oldest and they do talk to me some, but we don't see each other very often. As for me not being invited to a family function and everything else, as far as my side of the family is concerned, they know me and stepsister had a huge fight, and my parents have told them that I don't want to come around anymore, which isn't true at all. I've tried talking to my grandparents about it, but they aren't listening. Oops, sorry. Growing up, my bio parents divorced when I was 7, and I spent weekends at my dad's house. My mother would take the child support my dad sent for me and my sister and use it to pay for things that my step-siblings needed. I had to get a job at 14 to pay for clothes, food, sports gear, and anything I needed for school. At 16, I had to get a loan from the bank to buy my first car when the child support my dad was sending was used to pay stepsister's car payments after my mom paid for half her car up front. I was forced to move out at 18 while my step-siblings got to live in the house rent-free, job-free, and got everything paid for by our parents. When I was 2 months behind on the rent from having COVID, my grandmother and stepmom passing away told my parents told me I was on my own. I didn't even ask them for help. I was just ranting to my mom about it. After meeting my husband at 19, he helped me get back on my feet and helped me manage living on my own without feeling overwhelmed. He is supporting whatever decision I make. We don't get any financial help from my parents, siblings, or grandparents. My stepdad is the breadwinner of their family and brings in all the money. My mom thinks she can't speak out against him or he takes all the money away. My stepsister has since made a death threat to me and my baby because I told my mom she had to choose. I have blocked her on everything and I will not even talk to her anymore. Okay. It says thank you for the advice and support. There is a lot in this. So, we're going to start in the middle of this thing. So growing up, your bio parents divorced when you were 7. You spent weekends at your dad's house. So there's automatically hostility there. Whenever there's movement like that, you need to go here. These kids get to stay there. There's resentment over that. Either way, like the stepchildren could be jealous that you're going, and you could be jealous that they're not. But there's some jealousy deep-seated in childhood right there. This child support thing. I'm going to address this and piss off whoever needs to be pissed off right here and right now. It does not matter in the slightest what a mother uses child support money for. Period. The end. The money that comes into the household for the support and care of that child, as long as the bills are being paid, there is food on the table, and there is clothing on the child, it is not an issue what that money is spent for. They can take that direct money that you give to them and go and have their hair done, their nails done, buy a new car, give it away. That is not your concern as a child support paying person. Your concern is to put the money into the household to ensure that the care is done for the child. Now, if the care is not being done for the child, and we'll address some of these issues in a second, then there are other steps to take. But the money that is coming into the household is not yours to disperse. It is yours to give. It is like giving to charity. It is like giving to a beggar on the side of the street. If you feel called to give that money to the beggar, it does not matter if that beggar takes that money and goes and buys food or goes and buys drugs. It is not on you. What you were told to do was give money to the beggar. And that is where you are responsible. Your responsibility as a parent, as a father of a child, is to pay for the care and well-being of that child, regardless of whether or not you can see them, which you should be able to if you are paying, or what the mother is using the direct payments for. Period. I know that pissed a whole lot of people off. I do not care. I grew up in a house where we did not eat sometimes because my dad had that attitude. My dad had the attitude that he wasn't going to pay for my mom to get her hair done. So he didn't pay child support for us. And we were on commodities and we were eating stolen ketchup packs as fucking tomato soup. So that argument is invalid. I don't care who you are or where you are. I personally have been hungry because of that attitude, and it is wrong. Now, if my mom would have been spending that money and not feeding us, we ate when we had money. She didn't get her hair did when we didn't have money, right? She only got her hair done, like, the time that he was complaining about, it was a gift. So, like, there's extenuating circumstances, period. Your job as a father is to spend that money. And the court shouldn't have to tell you to do that. They do, I understand that, but they shouldn't have to. You should be going above and beyond for your child. If you can give more, then you should give more, whether or not the court ordered it or not. You should be paying into that household. I know that's going to set some people off. I know, I don't care. Now, as far as this, we're going to go here. I had to get a job at 14 to pay for clothes, food, sports gear, and anything I needed for school. With the exception of the clothes and the school, okay, I don't have a problem with that. My children did not have to do that. I'm going to be forthright and honest. Like, my children's job was to get good grades in school and to do the best they could in school, and I got that. Right? Both of my kids graduated with a 4, or my son will graduate this year with a 4.0. My daughter graduated with a 4.0. They both got accepted to colleges. They didn't think I did my job. My kids don't cause no trouble. They don't drink. They don't smoke. They don't fight. They don't get in any messes. I did my job as a parent. But their job as children was to do school. Not everybody parents that way, and that is perfectly fine. But parents should be responsible for clothing. You should buy the clothing, and you should pay for schooling. But if you want a phone or sports gear or anything else, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with making your kid go to work. Now, I think in Louisiana you have to be 15 before you can get a permit, but I don't have a problem with that. Getting a loan from a bank at 16 seems a little bit, really? Did that happen to me? But it could have. I'm not going to say it didn't, because the way the banking system set up is a little bit messed up. But you had to get a loan for your car. That's whatever. And again, the child support disbursements is not up to you nor your father. I was forced to move out at 18. We don't know the whole full situation of that, but at 18, your parents are no longer responsible for you. It is a shitty situation, and that is a problem. What I see more than anything here is that your mom is pretty toxic. So she is a bunghole, and that you probably need to cut off contact. As much as that probably sucks for you as a female, and that's your mom. But this situation is toxic. The fact that I can't get over this. If this is true, right? She said that if you didn't give her $30,000 of money that she did not earn, that she was going to tell somebody that you didn't give her $30,000. I'm going to go out on a limb here, because I've got a bit of a shady life. My history is a little bit on the shady side. And I've been on extortion gigs, and I've been in on the things that lead to extortion gigs, the things you can be extorted for. So I can understand that gig a little bit, right? And people don't just come to you for $30,000 for nothing. You feel me? Like, people don't just come up to you and randomly and hey, bro, let me get 30 grand. Or I'm gonna tell somebody you didn't give me 30 grand. Now, people might come up to you and be like, hey, bro, let me get 30 grand. Or else I'm gonna tell these other people what you're doing. That sounds a little bit more plausible to me. So I'm gonna say that there's a little bit probably shady going on in this situation. She wanted you to help her get a house and a car. How is that your responsibility? If you are both full-grown people, that is not your responsibility. It sounds like there's some leverage trying to be applied here. Your sister, your bio sister, has cut out all contact already. Do you want to know why? Because she recognized what you probably should have. If what you are telling us is true, and I have to assume that, even though I really don't believe it. If what you are telling us is true, then your mother has chosen something. This last bit right here, where I told my mom she had to choose, we didn't have to tell her shit. You didn't have to tell her nothing. She chose. She chose years ago. She chose whenever she told you that you had to get a car, and she bought one for your stepsister. She told you that was a choice. She told you then. She has been telling you repeatedly throughout. People tell you where you stand with them. You refuse to believe it. You want to push this issue because you feel separated from your mom because of the divorce at 7. 7's a very impressionable time. And so you felt ripped away from your mom because you had to go with your dad, more than likely. And so you missed out on the intimacy that your step-siblings have to keep, more than likely. And so that's caused resentment and issues and problems. And now your mom has made her choice. It sucks. I hate that for you. I do. I am praying for you. But she made her choice. Now, you don't owe anybody any financial support. If they are not your biological children, they're not your responsibility. Period. The fact that this is not your money, but your husband's money, is even a step farther than that. And, nobody has a right to demand your money. Period. Nobody has the right to demand any infringement upon your property. Period. And so that's an issue. So as far as the bunghole situation goes, no, you're not a bunghole for that. Like when there is a toxic relationship, what needs to happen is the confrontation safely to make sure that you understand the situation correctly. That's the only purpose that your question served, and I'm telling you, she answered that question before. Her question is the answer to the question is the stepsister. It's not you. It's the husband. It's not you. And that sucks, and people suck sometimes. But it's not you. Your mom's the bunghole in this situation. Absolutely. Your sister and stepsisters are the bunghole in this situation. Absolutely. Now, there appears to be more to the story than we get, but that's all I can say. Hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion. And to the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me. I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. You are perfect, whole, and complete just the way that you are. This has been Pittstake. Peace.